bored of the life in the city of gold. He'd left and let nobody know. Gone were the towers he had known from a child, along with the dream of a life. He travelled the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another to share in his life. But nowhere, everyone looked so strange to him. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? They cried and wept as they led him away to a cage. Beasts that can talk read the sign. The creatures they pushed and they prodded his frame and questioned his story again. But soon they grew bored of their prey, the beasts that can talk, more like a freak or publicity stunt. Oh, 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 no, oh, oh. They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't even know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the deep distance? He cried and broke down the door of the cage and plunged on out.
Todos los profesores que se han acercado para disertar en este congreso. Realmente y de corazón les doy la bienvenida y estamos a su disposición. La Asociación Médica Argentina de Oxygen-Ozone la cual ha puesto todo el esfuerzo para organizar y tener este evento, nos hace más partícipe de este congreso. Bueno, muchas son las cosas que nos fueron pasando. El Hotel Melia nos va a recibir, los va a hospedar y nos va a dar todo el confort para que podamos estar terapéuticas basadas en el ozono, y fuimos creciendo en los diferentes años a nivel mundial, en los diferentes congresos, desde que comenzó en Venecia. Hemos tenido nuestro último Congreso Mundial en Brescia con el doctor Bonetti como presidente, con unas perspectivas importantes, y en estos 2 años pudimos recorrer muchos congresos de ozono en Estados Unidos, en Italia, en España, y vemos que el ferviente crecimiento de estas técnicas y nuestros pensamientos individuales hacen más confiable la evidencia de los tratamientos. Latinoamérica, Europa, Asia, todos representados y con el mismo objetivo. Gracias que tenemos que las mesas redondas sean activas, que realmente podamos aportar todos los conocimientos que tienen y que lo podamos, luego de esta reunión, como siempre nos pasa, que nos queda ese entusiasmo compactado en nuestro cuerpo, lo podamos expresar y lo podamos seguirnos comunicando para saber de nosotros y saber de cómo evolucionamos con estas terapias. Bienvenidos a todos y todo el equipo de la MAO, toda la parte directiva, y nosotros en la organización de la Federación Mundial estamos a disposición y espero que todos disfruten. No quiero dejar de agradecer a toda mi familia. Gracias. Chao.
Bueno, buenas tardes, buenos buenos días. Pedimos disculpas por el retraso. En realidad hubo que hacer algunos cambios ahora de última hora porque el doctor Alexander todavía no pudo llegar. Ahí parece que 2 aviones retrasados en Ezeiza, pero bueno, están llegando. Como presidente de la Asociación Médica Argentina de Ozonoterapia, siento un gran placer al poder inaugurar este Congreso Mundial, que ha sido todo un desafío para poder concretarlo con casi 2 años de trabajo intenso. Nuestra asociación nació en el año 2006 y desde entonces ha venido creciendo en forma constante. Creamos el Congreso Ibero-Latinoamericano, que ya lleva 4 congresos en la Argentina, Brasil. Sanitarias tienen para poder realizar trabajos científicos randomizados para poder probar que nuestras conclusiones son ciertas. Por último, quiero agradecer muy especialmente a mis colaboradores que tanto hicieron por sacar adelante este congreso, al doctor Eduardo Liz, a la doctora Ángeles Herario, a Graciela Chávez en la organización,
Buenos días, bienvenidos. Lo mío es muy breve. Sencillamente voy a representar un poco a la Facultad de Medicina de la Universidad de Buenos Aires, dado que el secretario académico por razones personales no ha podido estar. Transmitirle que nuestro decano ha declarado a este congreso de interés científico. Creo que es algo muy importante porque evidentemente en Argentina y en el mundo científico sigue reconociendo la utilización de ozono, más el globalizado, pero es otro tema para discutir. Les comento que en el 2014 vamos a realizar el 3er curso de posgrado en la utilización de ozono en medicina, dirigido a médicos con más de 5 años de recibidos, cualquiera sea la especialidad que realicen, el cual, por supuesto, se realiza en la Facultad de Medicina de la UBA y con el aval de la Facultad de Medicina. También estamos trabajando individualmente en la Asociación Médica Argentina. Muchos de nosotros damos clases allí, hablamos sobre ozono, tratamos de científicamente explicarle a nuestros colegas para qué se usa. Así que bueno, el mundo científico de Argentina le da la bienvenida y espero que lo puedan disfrutar. Gracias.
Bueno, vamos a comenzar con la primera presentación científica. Doctora Renate Vieva, vamos a hablar de los procesos inflamatorios crónicos y el concepto de dosis bajas de ozono basadas en las guías internacionales para el uso del ozono. Doctora Vieva.
So, first of all, I would like to thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great honor to me to be here and to give a presentation on medical ozone, which is a subject lots of you I know already from several congresses all over the world. It's from China or from Europe or wheresoever, and I'm glad to be here. And I will give you a short presentation on the low-dose ozone concept on the basis of the guidelines which are now published in the International Journal of the International Ozone Association. And I also want to bring you the best greetings from the German Ozone Society, and I wish all of us a good success here. No, this is the wrong one. concept as this had been established in the last, especially in the last decade. And I will bring this as an example. I will bring the inflammatory process and here rheumatoid arthritis. So the low-dose ozone concept is based on the mechanism of action. I will show you that in a short overview. Inflammation. Inflammatory processes are the main indications of medical ozone. And this is from Science this year, and you can see something, an alveolar macrophage, and here you see something very special for biological medicine. It's a yin-yang sign, which is quite astonishing that we find it in Science journal. But it shows that biological thinking is coming to teaching medicine. And it shows the inflammatory process. It's only a small line being between the biological response in inflammation and a chronic inflammatory process. So, what what has it to do with ozone? This is our subject, of course. Let's see, inflammatory circle. We have a pro-inflammatory factor, and I reduce it now to some special parameters, of course, just to CD4 cells, helper cells. They get informed, and what is the answer? The biological response is normally the repair mechanism. If the repair mechanism works, everything is fine, it's gone. We don't need a treatment. But if not, if it's coming to a chronic inflammatory process, the population of the CD4 cells, the Th2, dominate. They dominate finally Th1. And the result is a huge amount of interleukins, of pro-inflammatory interleukins, and I will reduce it later on to interleukin-1, 6, and TNF-alpha, because they are normally measured in rheumatoid arthritis, and they are very, very high in a chronic rheumatoid process. So this is one part, the answer of the immune system. And at the same time, we have in chronic inflammatory processes, we have a high oxidant capacity. We have a high so-called oxidative stress. And this can be seen in superoxide radicals. Here a minus is left, is missed. NO, nitrogen oxide, and then if we have this chronic process, we have the typical inflammatory diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, tumor promotion effects, angiopathia, diabetes type 2, and the age-related diseases. And exactly these are the main indications of medical ozone. And lots of the diseases, tumors, cancer, lots of age-related cancer diseases are associated with a chronic inflammatory process. So what happens? Again, inflammatory signals are produced and we get the circle of the chronic inflammatory process. What to do? How can we interrupt this cycle? And teaching medicine is asking, are there complementary therapeutic concepts? And we are asking, and we know O3, can we interrupt this cycle by O3? This is our question. So what to do? What can we do? It's not necessary to read these, just the headlines. What can we do? Inhibition of pro-inflammatory targets. We can activate the anti-inflammatory pathways, and the question is it also possible to reprogram the immune answer, to reprogram TH, the production of TH2 domination to TH1. Let's see what happens with medical ozone. We know for a long time now, ozone is something which we call today a hormetic substance. What does it mean? Hormetic substance is the same as in 1500 Theophrastus Bombastus from Hohenheim, who is what is his name? Paracelsus, of course. Paracelsus, I just met his university in Basel last week. So he already said only the doses make something being a poison. So today this has a name, hormetic substance. It's the same. Telling in the efficacy dose curve here, saying the efficacy is of course is going up with high dosages, with increasing dose going down again, and this here is the toxic part, and this is what we know exactly from ozone. High effect at the low dose, no effect maybe here in very, very low dose, but then getting toxic. And of course also getting toxic if it's not applied correctly, which we of course know, everybody knows that ozone is toxic to the lung epithelium. How does it look like with an antibiotic? Just going up. Starting, the higher the dose, the higher the efficacy, but of course also the toxicity. So, how does ozone work? Now in one chart only, the three mechanisms of ozone we know today quite exactly. The first one, well known and well established in the 1930s, is the mechanism, the action of ozone to the red blood cells. First, ozone itself, if we give ozone to the blood, it reacts immediately in less than a second to, let's call us ozone peroxide, these peroxides. They react immediately, and this is the difference to chronic oxidative biological stress. It's a complete different mechanism. It reacts immediately with glutathione, and we know that this reaction makes something like an inflammation. In the red blood cell, the result is a better oxygen release. In all the other cells, we have the inflammation via the nuclear factor NRF2, and we will hear one presentation on that, and giving the information to produce the antioxidant substances. So we have an oxidant in a very special form, in a low dose, not to destroy the glutathione balance, but giving the information to the nucleus, giving the information to the DNA, and produce the specific proteins, in this case the antioxidant enzymes. And coming to the white blood cells, of course, a very similar mechanism. GSH, glutathione, gives the information to the nucleus, and then we get the specific cytokines, and we will find not an immunoactivation, but we will find an immunomodulation. So now we come to our intra-articular ozone injections. This is a new publication from Leon and collaborators giving ozone intra-articularly, which is done for 30 and more years, but we never had really an exact measurement like this case. So please, if you give ozone intraarticularly, please never forget to fill the ozone via a bacteria filter. So what is the result? This is a total arthritis index. This is done, of course, in an animal model, total arthritis index. And there are 4 groups. Control, the white one, is this one. This is arthritis index in non-treated animals, just the pick with a needle. Then we have the arthritis animals. It's a well-established animal model. Arthritis, the index is here, the red line, so they have a high arthritis index. Then the treatment group, after 10 days, these animals are treated with ozone-oxygen mixture, low dose, 20 microgram per mil, low volume of course, and you can see that here are the days that the arthritis index is going down. And very important, what is oxygen doing? Of course, we have an ozone-oxygen mixture always, as you know, so we always have to do a control group with oxygen. And you will see something, for some of you it will be astonishing. The oxygen group is the yellow line, and you can see these animals are treated from this day on, from the 10th day, with oxygen, intra-articular oxygen injections, and you can see the arthritis index is going up. So oxygen is reacting completely different than ozone. And the same, I think I leave this now and I go to the oxidative stress. Oxidative stress. First I show you the interleukin interleukin 1 and TNF-alpha. What happens with that in the chronic arthritis and oxidative stress. So, oxidative stress is very high in these cases, and the reason is we have a high a high amount of NO, which we need, of course, as a first response to inflammation for vasodilation. But at the same time, we have a high amount of superoxide radicals. And they both form this NO peroxide with a high toxic capacity. So we have a high toxicity, or let's say we have a high oxidative stress, which is very typical for all chronic inflammatory processes. Chronic. So this is our situation, high oxidative stress and low antioxidants. So it's out of a balance, and in this case, OH radicals are formed and they destroy everything. For OH radicals, there is nothing. There is no antioxidant, nothing. So we have to avoid them to be built in the body. So what are we going to measure? In chronic oxidative stress, we have high oxidative stress, chronic inflammations. We measure high H2O2 and so on as stress parameters, and low antioxidants. What happens with ozone? The antioxidants are regulated and the oxidants are reduced as a consequence. This has been measured now and published in the last 10 years, especially done by Olga Leon, and is well established, this mechanism is well established now. Again, this goes via the ozone peroxides, glutathione, and then the information to the nucleus. So, you can see really that this can be measured. The antioxidant status is, this is the control group, this is the arthritis group. So the antioxidant state is very, very low, going up by 3.5 weeks, 10, let's say 10 treatments, 10 intra-articular ozone injections. And this is with oxygen. So oxygen, again, completely different. Ozone is a completely different molecule. Same with NO. NO as control in rheumatoid arthritis. NO is very high, going down after the intra-articular ozone injections. Not so with oxygen. So, our mechanism, information to the nucleus via the nuclear factor, and the antioxidants are produced. Or the cytokines are produced. So we get the immune modulation and we get the antioxidant modulation. And let's just have, I will just go to further. I just leave this because it's the immune system. Okay, I come to just to show that the mechanism seems to explain quite well our ozone treatment. This mechanism means that we really inform the nuclear factor and we inform the DNA to produce messenger RNA, producing then the specific proteins for the specific cells. And I show just here in one picture that the messenger RNA is really increasing for interleukin-1 and TNF-alpha in rheumatoid arthritis. You see the same model, animal model. This is the increase from the rheumatoid arthritis. Messenger RNA for TNF-alpha going down under ozone and going even up under oxygen. Same for interleukin-1, messenger RNA, very high in the rheumatoid arthritis, going down, is down-regulated by ozone, and it's even a little bit upregulated by oxygen. And perhaps we can discuss over the day, and you will understand over the day, why oxygen is upregulating it and increasing the inflammatory process, and ozone decreases it. Thank you for your attention.
Bored of the life in the city of gold, he'd left and let nobody know. Gone were the towers he had known from a child, along with the dream of a life. Travel the wide open road, the blinkered arcade, in search of another to share in his life. But nowhere, everyone looked so strange to him.